Well, Katie, that's right. I'm right here in El Paso. Just a few feet behind me is Juarez, Mexico, where we've seen hundreds of migrants line up and be processed here. We saw that a lot yesterday. So far, haven't seen as much traffic here today, but it's happening along different openings, and the border fences are letting people in to process them. Some are sent back under Title 42, those COVID-19 restrictions that are due to lift at the end of the day today. But actually, that's only about 17% of the more than 11,000 migrants that have crossed the border the past 2 days. So really, a small number are being sent back under Title 42 because Mexico, and many times, refuses to take back more than a certain amount. So many of them are being released onto the streets. When Title 42 lifts, there will be new restrictions put in place. The Biden administration wants to raise the bar on claiming asylum. They say now if you cross through a country, say like Mexico, on your way to the southern border, and you didn't first claim asylum there, then you could be ineligible for asylum when you get to the United States. But the question, Katie, is numbers. In cities like El Paso, they get overwhelmed in Border Patrol facilities. They release them onto the streets. A lot of times the shelters fill up. They don't have enough space for them either. So the question is, if Mexico won't take them back, if there's no room in city shelters, if there's no room in Border Patrol, where will these people go? And that's really what they're wrestling with right now as they try to alleviate what could be a serious issue with overcrowding and a burden on cities like El Paso.
Julia, let me ask you about politics. How does politics play into what we have been seeing? Is there a desire to actually get an agreement done, or is this something that's a better political talking point, campaign talking point, than solution?
Well, you know, Katie, actually, so few politicians have ever attempted to really answer the problem that's happening behind me. And that's when it comes to asylum. A lot of the border immigration reform proposals that get floated in Congress have to deal with legalizing immigrants who are already in the United States or adding additional border security measures. But they don't handle what happens when someone arrives right here and tries to claim asylum in the United States, which is their international right. How do we process them? Do we take them all in? Again, international rights, really hard to deal with those numbers. That started happening in 2014 under the Obama administration. And so far, no one's had a great solution to it. We see piecemeal approaches from all different administrations in terms of who can be detained. Can families be detained? Can you separate children, which is what the Trump administration did? And can you raise the bar on what it means to claim asylum? All of these things get held up in court. The courts end up deciding a lot of our immigration policies, and that's what's happening now. Finally, they're able to lift Title 42, even though the courts held it in place for so long. There's been a big buildup. And yes, as far as the politics and the campaigns go, yes, the Biden administration has gotten really dinged on both sides of the aisle for their immigration policies. And I think they've made a marked shift. In fact, we asked the Border Patrol chief about this yesterday. He said, yes, if you notice we're getting tougher on asylum, and tougher on immigrants and tougher at the border, you're supposed to be noticing that. That's intentional.